into the shadows of the past. In the depths of medieval Europe, long before the age of science and reason, the line between myth and reality was thin and trembling. Whispers carried by the wind spoke of beings who could shed their human skin and transform into beasts of the night. These were not ordinary witches or spirits. They were shapeshifters, creatures feared, revered, and hunted across Europe. Today, we journey into the chilling folklore of skinwalkers, tracing the roots of this dark legend and unraveling its unsettling hold on the medieval imagination. 2. The many faces of the skinwalker. In European folklore, the concept of shape-shifting was not confined to one culture or form. In Scandinavia, the Hamrammer were warriors who could enter animal shapes through magic or rage. In the forests of Germany, tales of werewolves, men turned wolves under cursed moons, struck terror in the hearts of villagers. And in the Celtic Isles, there were whisperings of druids who could assume the forms of crows, wolves, or even myths. These beings were more than just monsters. They were a reflection of the thin veil between man and beast. 3. Pagan roots and ancient beliefs. Before the rise of Christianity, many European tribes saw shape-shifting as a spiritual act, a means of communing with nature or accessing divine powers. Shamans and wise folk would don animal skins in rituals to embody the strength of wolves or the wisdom of owls. But as Christianity spread, these sacred traditions were demonized. What was once considered mystical became heretical. The shape-shifter, once a symbol of harmony with nature, was recast as a servant of the devil. 4. Christianity's war on the wild. By the 12th century, church authorities began aggressively stamping out all non-Christian beliefs. The image of the skinwalker evolved into something far more sinister. No longer a mere folk tale, shapeshifters were now believed to be witches who made pacts with Satan, gaining the ability to transform into animals to commit evil. The Inquisition began to record and hunt these so-called witches, tying the belief in shape-shifting directly to heresy and witchcraft. 5. Werewolves, the most feared of all. Among all skinwalker legends, none gripped medieval minds more tightly than the werewolf. In France, the loup-garou was said to haunt the countryside, feeding on livestock and even children. Court records from the 16th century tell of real trials in which men were accused of transforming into wolves and slaughtering entire villages. These weren't just metaphors. Villagers truly believed these men were cursed or willingly aligned with dark forces. 6. The beast within, a psychological reflection. Some scholars argue that belief in skinwalkers reflected a deeper fear within medieval society, the fear of the wild, animalistic nature inside every person. In an age where violence was rampant and survival brutal, the idea that someone could snap and become a beast may have been terrifyingly relatable. Skinwalker stories served as warnings of losing control, of turning away from God, of becoming less than human. 7. Folklore or fact. In some regions, belief in skinwalkers was so pervasive that even noble courts acknowledged it. In 1589, Peter Stubb of Bedburg, Germany, was tortured and executed after confessing to being a werewolf. His story is riddled with inconsistencies, but to the frightened townspeople, his gruesome crimes could only be explained by supernatural. 8. The role of the moon in nature. The medieval mind was deeply connected to nature's rhythms. The full moon, in particular, was believed to stir the soul and awaken hidden urges. Many believed skinwalkers could only transform under its light, a belief rooted in ancient lunar worship. Forests, mountains, and lakes were not just scenery. They were domains of ancient spirits. And skinwalkers, it was believed, were the twisted offspring of nature and black magic. 9. Transformation rituals and curses. Legends often describe the process of transformation in dark, arcane detail. Some said wearing a wolf pelt under the moon could trigger the change. Others spoke of drinking potions made from deadly herbs or performing blood rituals deep in the woods. In Norse sagas, the berserkers wore bear or wolf skins and entered bloodthirsty frenzies in battle, blurring the lines between magic, madness, and transformation. 10. The witch hunts and the decline of the skinwalker. As the witch hunts reached their peak in the late medieval period, skinwalkers were folded into the broader hysteria of devil worship. Many accused witches were tortured into confessing they had transformed into animals to harm crops, livestock, or children. But with the Enlightenment came skepticism. Science began to explain mental illness, disease, and criminal behavior, slowly banishing the shapeshifter to the realm of folklore. 11. Legacy in modern culture. Though belief in skinwalkers faded in Europe, their echoes remain. From werewolf movies to horror games, the image of the shapeshifter still haunts our imagination. In fact, the concept has been revitalized through stories from other cultures, most notably the Navajo skinwalker legends of North America, which, though unrelated, share eerie similarities. The human fascination with transformation, darkness, and duality lives on. 12. Conclusion. Monsters made by man. The skinwalkers of medieval Europe were not just monsters of the night. They were reflections of a society grappling with fear, nature, faith, and power. Whether born of pagan rituals, Christian paranoia, or psychological projection, these legends offer a chilling insight into the medieval soul. In a world where the line between man and beast was always fragile, the skinwalker reminded people of the darkness that could lurk beneath anyone's skin, even their own.